Hello, guys. Welcome to Students of the Game, and I'm back here with.
Is it students of the game?
Well, did I say Students of the Game? Nah, forgive me, guys. Yeah, this is Box to Box Football. Okay, so guys, let's get into it now. As you can see, there's lots of football going on, but as the football's going on, there's so many transfers, speculation right now. Is he going to go here? Is he going to go there? This team wants him. This team wants this player. But we're going to talk about five big players who could potentially make a move this summer. We're going to call this segment Transfer Talk. You might get this every week after the season ends. So we're going to get into it right now, and we're going to talk about the first player is Jadon Sancho and his move to Manchester United. Now, there have been a lot of rumors in the today actually saying that Jadon Sancho has agreed a 5-year deal with Manchester United. Shock. But the question is it actually going to happen this summer? Jack?
In my opinion, I actually think it will. My one thing with this is, do I think personal terms have been agreed? Yes, I absolutely do. I think that it's an easy thing for Manchester United to do. They do have one of the larger wage bills in the whole of world club football. So agreeing a wage for a player of Jadon Sancho's quality, I actually think is probably the easiest part of the deal. The difficulty will come down to agreeing on that fee. Dortmund probably aren't going to budge on their valuation, and if they do budge, they're not going to budge to the 50 million or whatever mark that was reported a week or so ago that Manchester United wanted. I think it will happen in the end, because I don't think Mason Greenwood can be relied upon just yet, and I think Solskjaer wants him maybe to be a 9. And with the good fluidity there and the front three, adding Sancho to the mix, having Daniel James come off as, like, say, a bench player, more of a squad player, I do think there's a need there going forward. But do I think Manchester United will pay over 100 mil for Jadon Sancho? No, I don't.
I agree with you a lot. I feel, for me, first looking at this fit, a question is saying, why does Manchester United need this? They have Martial, they have Rashford, they have Daniel James. But then I looked at it from the point of view of having an out-and-out winger. Martial isn't an out-and-out winger. Rashford isn't an out-and-out winger. And personally, I don't believe Daniel James is good enough to be a Manchester United winger and start week in, week out. If they bring in Jadon Sancho, it's a perfect fit for them. And especially him, Manchester United signing these young English players like Kai Maguire, like Daniel James. In a way, it's a great fit. The fee is the biggest problem. What I can see happening is maybe Manchester United offering them a 50 to 60 million pound plus a player. I can't see them just as you mentioned, spending 100 million straight away.
Or perhaps they do what a lot of big teams do now, and it's a loan deal, 2-year loan deal with a permanent fee at the end, and you can spread out your costs. That usually works for clubs better in terms of cash flow. So another interesting aspect as well is that Jesse Lingard has recently signed on with Mino Raiola. Now, you only sign on with Mino Raiola if you want to move clubs. So I think in terms of Jesse Lingard's place in the team, his wages and everything of that nature, he will be the one probably sacrificed to make way in that squad for Jadon Sancho.
Do you see a player like Jesse Lingard moving to Borussia Dortmund? I think it would be a decent fit for Dortmund, because I do believe that they can definitely get a player out of Jesse Lingard. But the question is, would he want to move to Germany? But again, guys, tell me what you think. Go on.
Well, I think Dortmund can do better, plain and simple.
That's rude. That's really rude. But guys, tell me what you think about that. Jadon Sancho, Manchester United will happen this summer. Let me know. We're gonna move on to the next player right now, and we're looking at Koulibaly and his projected move to Man City or Manchester United. Recent speculation has suggested that Koulibaly actually wants to move to Man City. And looking at what Man City need this season, I feel like it's a deal that will happen. but the question is for how much. You know, I feel as much as Manchester United showed a desire to get him, I don't believe that they're willing to fork out the type of money that they did for Harry Maguire. So it's going to be Man City. The question is, what is the fee going to look like?
Honestly, it's a really hard one to call in terms of the fee. What I do know from the people who I listen to and the people who I trust when they report news is that Koulibaly and Napoli have come to an agreement that he will be sold at the end of the year, but that he will only get a move to a club that he wants to move to. So that being Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool have also been supposedly dropped in as a little hint. I doubt it, but we'll see. And any of those other big teams. The reason why I think the fee is difficult to predict is he's a little older. He's maybe not as respected as he was maybe 12, 24 months ago.
How old is he, Jack? Is he 29 years old?
Yeah, I believe so. I think, or maybe he's just about to turn 29. I can double check that right now. But basically, the point being, Manchester United will not be paying that kind of money again for a centre-back. Manchester United are also supposedly looking for a left-footed centre-back as opposed to Koulibaly, who's right-footed. And I think City, John Stones, the experiment with Pep has really, really run its course now. He's going to be gone as soon as they can get rid of him. And Koulibaly, I think, will sit in nicely next to Aymeric Laporte, and that will be a very nice-looking defensive partnership.
You just said it there. Man City lost, to me, the most inspirational player in Vincent Kompany this season. And you can see the struggles that they've had. They haven't really... Laporte has been out for the majority of the season. And then they got to a point where they have to put Fernandinho in there. Pep seems like he's lost his faith in John Stones. Ottomani, let's be honest, he's not as good as a lot of people make him out to be. And to be honest, they brought in Javier Garcia, who's decent and young, but he's not what's going to take Man City to challenge Liverpool again, especially challenging for the title. Koulibaly coming in will do so.
Just to say, he is 29. He just turned 29 in June. So we're really entering the peak here. But a deal around the 50s and 60s, because Napoli wants a deal, Koulibaly wants a deal, and Man City wants a deal. All of the parties involved want the deal to happen, which just makes me think the fee will be less than maybe expected.
Yeah, I'm happy with that too. I feel 60 million for someone who's turning 29. I think is going to be great business for both sides. To be fair, guys, comments down below. Tell me what you think. But we're now going to move on to the next player. And I posted about this a few days ago and got a huge response from Liverpool fans, Tottenham fans, all types of fans. But here is a move that has been rumoured that Thiago Alcantara might be on his way to Anfield. Now, rumours are saying that he agreed to sign for Liverpool, but hasn't been confirmed yet. And speculation in the Bayern Munich dressing room that Alcantara has already said that he's on his way out. I look at this move right now. Jack, first of all, tell me, what do you think about this move?
I think that if it happens, it's absolutely amazing. With the rumoured fees, it's potentially one of the best kind of deals of the summer, potentially looking at it. But the one thing I will say is Thiago Alcantara had one hell of a transfer saga with Manchester United. If you recall, I believe maybe, 6 years ago now or something like that.
Was it not 2015 or
2015 maybe? And I remember the kind of basis of it was that he wanted a move, and his agent and his team were just trying to rustle up interest. So it's not going to overly shock me if Thiago Alcantara does leave Bayern Munich, but maybe it's for a different team. Now, I would say at this point, my money would be on Liverpool. But do I think Liverpool need a central midfielder? I wouldn't say they need one. It would be certainly an upgrade on a couple of their players. But is it going to overly shock me if he moves to a different team? Probably not.
I feel that Thiago Alcantara is a fit that Liverpool desperately need. Now, look at the Liverpool three in the middle. Very, very talented. All good, hard-working players and complement the team very, very well. But the game against Atletico Madrid told you a story and told you what Liverpool is missing. Now, Atletico Madrid came there and sat back and said, Liverpool, break us down. show us what you got. What Liverpool basically did, put the ball out wide to Trent Alexander-Arnold and cross the ball. Liverpool had 44 crosses, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
It failed to break Atletico Madrid down. They did score 2 goals, but for the dominance that they had, didn't really show me that much. They need a creative spark in the middle. That for me, when the game gets tight, when teams do sit back and it's hard for them to break down and they're getting the ball out wide, they need someone in the middle to unlock the opposition defense. Thiago Alcantara for me is perfect, but the question is that will it actually happen?
So in a midfield 3 featuring Thiago, who would be his 2 other partners in your opinion?
I feel Henderson is undroppable.
I agree.
I'm a big fan of Genie. The question is, people will say that he doesn't get into it, but I feel a player of that type of quality should get into it. It should go Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago Alcantara, and Genie. While I'm a massive fan of him, maybe you can take Henderson out of there, but you look at what Thiago Alcantara could bring to that midfield, and I believe he can bring a lot.
I would look at having potentially Genie Wijnaldum, Naby Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain and James Milner maybe all on the bench in those kind of positions, and just think to myself, they probably need to sell one of them to justify it, in my opinion. Would it work? Of course. Would it be one of the best deals of the summer? Of course. But am I going to be shocked if Thiago signs a deal for, I don't know, PSG or Juve or Inter or some other team and he's just rustling up interest? I'm not going to be too surprised.
So guys, comments down below. Tell me what you think about this deal. We're going to move on to the next one. And this one is close to my heart. Me being an Arsenal fan, I've suffered this year, but there are big rumors speculation going on for a while now that Arsenal want to sign Thomas Partey, and Arsenal showed a lot of interest towards him. Partey has also showed a lot of interest to join Arsenal. But the question is this deal going to happen? There's speculation today of Arsenal willing to offer Alexander Lacazette in exchange for Thomas Partey. But Jack, tell me what you think about this deal.
Arsenal don't have very much money to play with, unfortunately, at the moment, due to a lack of willingness to do so from the Arsenal board of directors. Their intent, unfortunately, and this is the sad truth for Arsenal at the moment, the intent of the owners and the key decision makers at the club seems to be making money as opposed to winning football games and trophies, which is very sad. But what that says to me is they have to sell to buy. Now, Lacazette, I think, is a perfect example of somebody who you sell and potentially offload to get somebody like Partey. My worry is he's going to be in high demand from other places who may be offering similar money or just cash. So I'm going to be hesitant for now and say that it doesn't happen. Although I think that Arsenal need to try very, very hard for this. Pre-lockdown, this was one of my central midfielders, team of the season type people. Early on in the year, him, Fabian Ruiz were kind of my 2 locks in midfield for how they kind of began at the very beginning of the year. Obviously, that's kind of fallen off a little bit now and we've had a global pandemic. But Thomas Partey is the real deal and would make a huge difference to Arsenal.
Again, you said everything I really have to say about the deal. It all depends on Arsenal's board. But I feel with this global pandemic, it might go Arsenal's way at the same time. I feel we might not be able to afford the fee of him, but I think that we can somehow maneuver in a different way by just like I said, offering Alexander Lacazette. This is a deal that if you're Arsenal, it must happen. Too many times this season, we have been weak in the midfield and has exposed our defensive deficiencies. Someone like that in the middle is going to show them up and give freedom to players like Xhaka, Ozil, Aubameyang to go forward and express themselves, but knowing that they have that top anchor at the back. I'm on my knees right now. If you want me to get on my knees, Arsenal,
I'll cross my fingers.
Please sign Thomas Partey. Yeah, this is a deal that I need to happen and it must happen.
One thing I will say is if Lacazette and also if rumours are to be believed with Guendouzi, if these types of players are going to be moved on,
there will be enough, especially on the wage bill, but potentially in terms of a pot to sign a player outright. I'm not going to rule out potentially a deal coming through.
Okay, guys, comment down below. Tell me what you think, Arsenal fans. Will it happen? Arsenal board, please make it happen.
I want it to happen. I want it to happen.
Let's just hope. Last one of the day we're going to talk about. Now, me and Jack had a video on this player on where he's going to go, and that was Kai Havertz. He's been linked with numerous clubs, but it seems today that Chelsea seems to be the front runner for him at this moment in time. There's rumours of a £19 million move for him. I think he is 1 year left on his contract at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Madrid, apparently Real Madrid have also put in bids, but it hasn't really came true. But Chelsea seems to be the front runner. Can you see him being a Chelsea player, Jack?
I can. This reeks of Roman Abramovich just throwing his weight around and just putting his foot down. I'm sure we'll talk about it many, many times in the future, but Timo Werner, again, reeks of, oh, my team aren't winning Champions Leagues and leagues anymore. Right. Spend loads of money. Let's get back up there. And that's been Chelsea since he's taken over. And that's okay. You can live and die by that if you want. But Havertz, of course, it's going to cost other players positions in the team. But I do look at the likes of Pedro moving to Roma. Willian still hasn't signed an extension. Hudson.
He won't sign an extension. I think Willian said he's going to give Chelsea till August, to the Champions League, and then he's out.
Amazing. So there we go. Hudson-Odoi is not what we thought he was going to be. There's a few other kids who didn't quite hit their potential. Charlie Musonda comes to mind, and a couple of those other kids. So there are spots on this Chelsea team and within the squad to be filled up. Now, I think Mason Mount is good. I think Werner is good. I think Ziyech is good. I think Pulisic is good. But you have to say that there's kind of one spot for maybe a star in there to really come in. Chelsea saved a lot of money by having a transfer ban enforced, and now they're willing to spend it. Now, I'm not going to be shocked if another big team rivals them for Kai Havertz. But like with Timo Werner, if Chelsea are committed enough and passionate enough about getting him, I think that's going to be really appealing to him and he'll accept it. Just like you, I agree. I feel like Chelsea has shown a type of aggressiveness in the transfer window that shows their ambition in what they want to achieve. He would be the icing on for me, a fantastic transfer window so far for Chelsea. If they can bring him in, which at this moment in time it looks possible, I feel you'd be looking at Chelsea being title contenders next season. So again, guys, we've just been through 5 players that could make a move this summer. What do you think, guys? Can Jadon Sancho move to Manchester United? Thomas Partey, will it happen? Let us know, guys. Comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 200. Thank you for watching. And from me and Jack, see you next time. Yeah.